Welcome to another deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're plunging into, well, a true cultural titan, Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Now, you might think, this series, epic fights, power-ups, lots of screaming, right?
That's the surface, yeah.
But here's the surprising thing we're going to uncover. This iconic anime franchise is actually deeply rooted in a classic piece of Chinese literature.
Mm-hmm. And also a wealth of Japanese folklore and cultural concepts, too.
Exactly.
So our mission really in this deep dive is to unpack those layers of inspiration behind Dragon Ball. We want to move beyond just the action stuff
Right.
and reveal this rich tapestry of East Asian myth, religion, storytelling, all the traditions that profoundly shaped its world and characters.
So we'll start by exploring its, well, undeniable primary source, that 16th century Chinese epic Journey to the West.
A big one.
Then we'll pivot to broader Japanese cultural elements, and finally we'll look at how Dragon Ball, uniquely adapts and even playfully subverts these traditional tales.
Yeah, twists them around sometimes.
Our goal is to equip you with the knowledge, to see Dragon Ball with fresh eyes, appreciate its hidden depths, and truly understand why it became such a global phenomenon.
That's good.
All right, let's trace this lineage.
Okay, so to understand Dragon Ball, we absolutely have to begin with its foundation, Journey to the West.
Right.
This is a 16th century Chinese novel. It's considered one of the 4 great classical novels of Chinese literature.
So like really foundational.
Hugely. Think of it as a foundational tale in Eastern culture, maybe like how the King Arthur legends are in the West. It's that big.
Okay, so what's the core story?
At its core, Journey to the West is about this arduous pilgrimage of a Buddhist monk named Xuanzang.
Xuanzang, also known as Tripitaka, right?
That's him. He journeys to India to retrieve sacred Buddhist scriptures, but importantly, he's not doing it alone.
Right, he has companions. Who are they? What's their deal?
He's accompanied by this fascinating set of powerful disciples, and they're on the quest because they're seeking atonement for past sins.
Ah, okay, so redemption.
Exactly. It makes their journey as much about spiritual purification as it is about the physical pilgrimage.
And that brings us where?
This brings us directly to the most prominent inspiration for Dragon Ball's protagonist, Goku.
Son Wukong, the Monkey King.
The Monkey King himself. His origin is, well, it's pretty mythical, born from a stone nourished by the 5 elements.
Wow.
Learned Taoist arts, mastered an incredible 72 polymorphic transformations, plus combat, immortality, the works.
Sounds unstoppable.
Almost. His rebellion against heaven, though, ultimately led to him being trapped under a mountain by the Buddha himself.
For how long?
500 years, until Xuanzang freed him.
500 years. That's an incredible origin story. So how does that transformative hero's quest and the, learning humility part specifically mirror Goku's early journey?
Well, that inner journey is really key for both characters. Sun Wukong hones his abilities, sure, but he also learns humility, patience, kindness, diligence, all through his pilgrimage.
And for Goku, we see that reflected in.
You see it reflected directly in some of his most iconic features. The monkey tail, obviously.
Right.
The magical extending power pole, the Noibo.
Power pole, classic.
And his flying nimbus cloud, the Kintuan. These are all direct parallels to Sun Wukong's traits and items.
So specific abilities too. What did Sun Wukong have?
Oh, yeah. Signature abilities like the Cloud Somersault or Jindu Yun. It could travel an incredible 108,000, about 33,554 miles in a single leap.
Whoa. Okay. Instant travel, basically.
Pretty much. And his, as you will, gold-banded cudgel, that's the power pole equivalent, weighed over 17,560 pounds and could, change size at will.
It's incredible how many of Goku's signature elements are direct echoes. It's not even subtle sometimes.
Not at all. And Son Goku's name is literally the Japanese reading of Sun Wukong. It means monkey aware of emptiness.
Aware of emptiness. What's that reference?
It references both Buddhist enlightenment and Taoist elixir arts. Deep stuff.
And Toriyama even tweaked the design, right? Made him a human boy with a tail.
Yeah, to make him a bit distinct, though he apparently later admitted the tail was just a pain to draw consistently.
Ah, so that's why it eventually disappeared.
Seems likely. And don't forget Goku's Suzaru transformation, the great ape under the full moon.
Right, that raw power.
And his initial violent Saiyan nature, which was tempered by that accidental head injury, that's what turned him into the cheerful character we mostly know.
So when we look back at Sun Wukong's Cloud Somersault, Goku's instant transmission, or Shunken Idu, it really does feel like a modern take on that lightning-fast travel.
Yeah, maybe symbolizing instant travel through enlightenment, in a way.
It fits, but the parallels, they don't just stop with Goku, do they?
Oh, not at all. The connections extend far beyond just Goku. If we look at the broader cast, many of the supporting characters have clearer lineage from Journey to the West.
Okay, like who? Give us some examples.
Well, consider Yamcha and Oolong, for instance.
Ah, the early antagonists turned friends. What are their connections?
Well, their resemblance to Zubaji, or Pigsy, and Xiaowijing Sandy is pretty striking.
How so?
Zubaji was a pig demon who kidnapped women. Oolong, likewise, made his entrance by abducting young ladies, remember?
I do remember that. Okay, Oolong and Pigsy, check. What about Yamcha?
Xiaowijing first manifested as a sand demon. Yamcha started out as a desert bandit. There's a thematic link there.
Makes sense. And they both started as adversaries before joining Goku's side.
Exactly. Just like Zubaji and Xiaowijing eventually reformed and joined the monk's quest.
Okay, that's pretty clear. What about others? Like Ox King and Chi-Chi.
Definitely connected. They seem based on the Bull Demon King and Princess Iron Fan.
Weren't they major adversaries in Journey to the West?
They were notorious ones, yeah. But in Dragon Ball, Goku meets them on Fire Mountain. They eventually become allies, and of course, Goku ends up marrying Chi-Chi.
And didn't Princess Iron Fan have a special item?
She did. The Bastion, or Bancho fan in Dragon Ball, it could control weather, create giant winds.
And it appears in Dragon Ball too. Used to put out the fire on Fire Mountain.
Precisely. The connection's right there.
What about Tien Shinhan? He was a really formidable early opponent for Goku.
Tien Shinhan seems inspired by Erlang Shen, a god from the Chinese pantheon.
Erlang. What's his significance?
He's notable for being pretty much the only god who truly defeated Sun Wukong in the original epic.
Ah, okay. So that explains why Tien was such a massive threat to Goku initially.
It gives that context, yeah. And Tien's third eye is also a subtle nod, connecting perhaps to Buddhist and Hindu beliefs about inner sight or divinity.
It's fascinating how the whole quest changes too. From seeking Buddhist sutras
A complex religious goal?
to something much more straightforward. Gathering 7 Dragon Balls to summon a wish-granting dragon.
Right. It simplifies the quest objective, makes it more accessible, more game-like, maybe.
But Shenron himself, the Eternal Dragon, how closely does he align with Chinese mythology? He looks the part.
He definitely resembles the powerful and auspicious Chinese dragons. Long. They're symbols of imperial power, good fortune, control over water and weather.
But the wish-granting.
That's the fascinating contrast. While Shenron is this figure of solemn respect in Dragon Ball who grants wishes, in traditional Chinese mythology, the specific dragon Shenlong, who controls wind and rain, doesn't typically grant wishes. And there's certainly no traditional connection to finding 7 magic balls to summon him. That seems to be Toriyama's unique spin.
That's a really interesting distinction. So the Chinese origins are clear, foundational even. But Dragon Ball is also deeply Japanese. How much does it then weave in elements from Japan's own rich tapestry of mythology and culture?
Oh, a great deal. It's not just Journey to the West. Dragon Ball draws deeply from Japanese mythology, folklore, Shinto and Buddhist beliefs, and even historical context.
So Shenron, for instance,
Yeah.
even though it's based on a Chinese dragon.
Right, the concept of revered dragons with magical abilities resonates strongly with Japanese dragon lore too. Ryu or Tatsu, often associated with water deities, or Kami, so it fits both contexts.
And beyond dragons. How does this series reflect Japanese society or history?
Well, you can see subtle reflections. Consider the devastation of planet Namek, for example.
Yep.
The destruction caused by conflict, the environmental damage. That arguably echoes Japan's own experiences with, say, post-war reconstruction or even ongoing environmental concerns.
Harmony with nature.
Exactly, which is a core tenet in Japanese Shinto beliefs. Or think about the Cell Saga.
It was the bioengineered android cell.
Right. That reflects perhaps some post-war anxieties in Japan about the unintended consequences of rapid technological advancement. There are definite nuclear undertones there too, reminiscent of the atomic bombings. Human hubris, maybe.
That's heavy. And Mojin Buu, he feels quite different from Cell. More chaotic.
Very different. Majin Buu embodies chaos and transformation. He really draws inspiration from Japanese folklore, where you often have these supernatural entities, yokai or others, who disrupt things but can also sometimes restore equilibrium.
In his different forms.
They definitely echo the shape-shifting creatures, the Hangyokai, found throughout Japanese mythology. He's pure chaotic potential.
Makes sense. Now, speaking of abilities, let's talk about Ki. That life force energy is so central.
Absolutely. Qi, or qi in Chinese, is directly inspired by East Asian martial arts traditions. Think of Japanese Aikido or Chinese Qigong, which focus on cultivating and manipulating life energy.
So it's not just magic, it has a philosophical basis.
It adds that layer of depth to the character's abilities, yes. It's about inner strength, focus, not just brute force.
And what about the fusion dance? That always seemed like a fun, almost quirky addition.
It is fun, but you could also see it as mirroring a Japanese concept, cultural syncretism.
Syncretism, meaning?
The blending and adapting of foreign elements into Japan's own identity. Fusion emphasizes strength derived from combining diverse influences, creating something new and more powerful.
That's a cool interpretation. And Goku's overall journey.
From this humble, kind of naive kid, even though he's a Saiyan, to the universe's savior. It perfectly aligns with the archetypal hero's quest. That's prevalent in Japanese folklore, but also globally, of course.
And he embodies certain ideals.
Definitely. Unwavering optimism, that constant drive for self-improvement, those are very central to his character.
I can see that. And we can't really ignore the religious underpinnings either, can we? You mentioned Shinto and Buddhism coexist in Japan. How does Dragon Ball reflect that?
It's quite direct, actually. Shinto, the indigenous religion, emphasizes purity, especially purity of heart.
Which Goku embodies perfectly. He can ride the Nimbus cloud because he's pure of heart.
Exactly. And Buddhism's belief in reincarnation. It's strikingly evident in the series. Characters die and come back frequently.
All the time.
Death isn't final. It's often a temporary state, maybe leading to more training or growth before resurrection. That reflects Buddhist ideas about the cycle of life, death, and rebirth.
Are there other influences like Taoism or Confucianism?
You could argue there are hints, maybe a moral backdrop focused on family ties, which become increasingly important, and hierarchical structures like the respect shown between master and student, which echoes Confucian values.
Yeah.
Think about senpai and kohai relationships, or the concept of giri, a debt of gratitude or social obligation. You see characters acting out of loyalty or repaying debts.
And the figures like Kami and Piccolo, they aren't just God and Satan in the Western sense.
Not really, no. Kami-sama literally means god or deity, and Piccolo Daimao is great demon king. But they reflect a broader Eastern understanding of gods, kami, and demons, onima, within a more pluralistic spiritual landscape. It's often about balance, like yin and yang, maybe echoing principles from the I Ching, the Book of Changes. It's less about absolute good versus absolute evil.
Okay. And beyond the spiritual, there's clearly a massive martial arts influence. Where do things like samurai traditions fit in?
Absolutely. Even if Dragon Ball isn't strictly a samurai story, the influence of those tales is clear in the action, especially as the series leans more into martial arts tournaments and serious combat.
How so?
Virtues often associated with Bushido, the samurai code, things like rectitude, courage, benevolence, politeness, sincerity, honor, loyalty, self-control. You see Goku embodying many of these.
And the other Z fighters too, eventually.
Right, they grow into these ideals. It also ties into Zen Buddhism's impact on martial arts training.
Zen, like meditation.
That, but also concepts like emptying the mind, Mushen, achieving a state of no thought in combat, respecting your opponent, and the constant striving against oneself for self-improvement. That's basic Zen philosophy applied to martial arts.
And we definitely see Goku go through that kind of training.
Clearly. Think about his training under Corinne, or later with Kami and Mr. Popo. It's all about discipline, focus, and inner peace alongside physical strength.
So we've covered these ancient, really profound influences. Journey to the West, Japanese folklore, religion, martial arts philosophy.
A real melting pot.
But Dragon Ball's unique flavor, its a special weirdness sometimes, that really comes from Akira Toriyama's playful genius, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's key.
Especially his love for puns and wordplay in the character names. That's something easily missed by Western audiences.
It's truly brilliant and, yeah, often lost in translation. Toriyama's playful genius is baked into the names. It's not just a throwaway gag. It's fundamental to the humor.
Like the Saiyans?
The Saiyans. Their name, Saiyajin, is an anagram for yasai, which means vegetable in Japanese.
No way.
Yes. And Goku's birth name, Kakarot. It's a play on carrot. Vegeta is vegetable. Raditz is radish. Nappa is cabbage or greens.
That's hilarious, all these super powerful warriors named after vegetables.
It grounds them in this absurd, mundane way. And it goes on. Yancha, oolong, pu'er, they're all types of Chinese tea.
Okay, I knew those. What about Bulma?
Bulma is a play on Buruma bloomers or gym shorts.
Bloomers, seriously.
Seriously. Chi-Chi can mean milk or slang for breasts. Krillin, Kurin, likely comes from curry, chestnut, referring to his bald head, and maybe the Shaolin monks, Shirin. Frieza is obviously freezer. Gohan means cooked rice. Pilaf is rice pilaf. Piccolo is a musical instrument. Jackie Chun is a nod to Jackie Chan.
It's everywhere. It completely recontextualizes characters we've taken seriously for decades.
It does. That irreverent, whimsical humor is baked into the DNA of the series.
And beyond the puns, Dragon Ball is amazing at just reimagining folklore, right?
Yes.
Taking these traditional elements and twisting them.
Exactly. Toriyama takes these serious, ancient stories and myths and just plays with them, with a kind of peculiar disregard for the original sources sometimes.
Creating this unique, often absurd world.
Yeah, compared to other anime, like, say, Miyazaki's Spirited Away, which treats Japanese folklore and spirits very reverentially.
Right, very respectfully.
Dragon Ball takes a more subversive approach. It allows for ridiculous humor, like Oolong wishing for a pair of panties to stop Emperor Pilaf from making his wish for world domination.
That scene is iconic. And a perfect example. You have this world where Goku lives in the mountains with dinosaurs.
Totally primitive setting.
But then Bulma arrives in a high-tech capsule car, pulling out a fully equipped house.
Right. This blend of futuristic technology and primitive settings, alongside all the fantastical elements. It creates a world that just prioritizes imagination and surprise over strict coherence or realism.
It works, somehow. And this extends to morality, too. It's not always clear-cut good versus evil.
Definitely. Dragon Ball departs pretty strongly from what scholars call Manichaeism, that strict black and white, good versus evil divide you often see in Western fairy tales.
How so?
Many characters initially presented as evil, like Yamcha, Oolong, Tien Shin Han, Piccolo, Vegeta, eventually switch sides.
Right, they become allies or at least anti-heroes.
And their reasons are often complex. Personal attachments develop, rivalries turn into respect, circumstances change, or sometimes it's just for food, like with Yajirobe.
Classic Yajirobe. And the magical elements, they evolve too, don't they?
They really do. Things like senzu beans or even the Kamehameha start out feeling like rare, incredibly powerful talismans or secret techniques.
Almost mystical.
Yeah. But over time, they become more commonplace, integrated into the team's regular arsenal. They become tools, part of the fighting system.
And transformations. Like Oolong and Puar shape-shifting, or Goku turning into the Great Ape, or Piccolo growing giant.
They just happen. There's usually no attempt at a scientific explanation. It reflects those Japanese folk traditions where shape-shifting and magical transformations are just part of the world.
It feels very natural within the series' own logic.
Ultimately, Dragon Ball's genius isn't just in its sources, though they're fascinating. It's in the unique combination, the fusion, and often the parodic use of those Journey to the West parallels, the deeply ingrained Japanese folklore, and those clever linguistic puns.
Creating something totally singular.
Exactly. A cultural fusion that often surprises you and kind of questions the familiar source material.
And the legacy of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
It's just massive, isn't it? It's everywhere.
It really is. And it's interesting, the original Journey to the West itself continues to inspire modern entertainment, too.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, there's a big upcoming video game called Black Myth Wukong. It looks stunning, and it's a direct adaptation of the Son Wukong story. So the original legend is still very much alive in modern pop culture.
That's cool. But Dragon Ball's own influence on other anime is undeniable.
Oh, absolutely huge, especially on shonen manga and anime that came after it. Think about Naruto.
Okay, yeah. What are the links there?
Well, the shadow clone technique feels very Dragon Ball-esque in its multiplication of power. Some of the powerful eye techniques, the dojutsu. There's even a character called the Monkey King Enma, and one of the tailed beasts is named Son Goku and looks like a giant ape. Tamari uses a giant fan, like Princess Iron Fan.
Wow, lots of connections. What about One Piece?
One Piece, too. The protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy, a monkey name, his stretchy powers from a devil fruit, his cheerful, food-loving personality. There are definite echoes of Goku.
And the whole quest aspect.
Yeah, the long journey for a legendary treasure, the One Piece mirrors Sun Wukong's long pilgrimage for scriptures, or Goku's initial quest for the Dragon Balls. It set a template.
So how pervasive is Dragon Ball outside of Japan, outside of anime circles? It feels like it's broken into the mainstream.
Astonishingly pervasive. Dragon Ball elements have just permeated global pop culture. You see it constantly.
Where are the memes?
Memes like It's Over 9,000 are iconic online, but also countless parodies and homages in Western animation, shows like Robot Chicken, The Simpsons, South Park, Steven Universe, The Amazing World of Gumball, they all reference it.
What kind of references?
Characters mimicking the Kamehameha pose and blast.
Yeah.
Dark's characters powering up with spiky hair and auras like Super Saiyans. It's visual language, the power-up tropes, they're instantly recognizable worldwide.
And its real-world impact. Does it inspire people outside of entertainment?
It seems so. Numerous celebrities and athletes have cited Dragon Ball as an inspiration.
Really? Like who?
Well, tennis star Rafael Nadal has mentioned it. Several UFC fighters like Marcus Brimage and Ronda Rousey. Rousey famously said she wanted to be Android 18 as a kid and often called Vegeta her favorite character because of his pride and training ethic.
Huh. Ronda Rousey dreaming of being Android 18.
Yeah. It's themes of pushing limits, intense training, achieving new levels of power. They clearly resonate with high-performing athletes.
Now, it's probably worth noting, the series isn't immune to criticism, right? Especially regarding Goku's character development or lack thereof in the later series.
That's definitely a point of discussion among fans, yeah. Some common criticisms have emerged over time.
Like what?
Well, for instance, some argue his constant desire for stronger opponents often puts the Earth, or even the universe, in jeopardy. He seems almost addicted to fighting powerful foes.
Right, he kind of enables some villains just for the thrill of the fight later.
And there's the criticism about his perceived irresponsibility as a father and husband. You know, the running joke about Piccolo being Gohan's real dad because he spent more time training him.
Yeah, that's a classic meme too. Goku's often off training or dead while Piccolo steps up.
And his tendency to show mercy to villains. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it backfires spectacularly, like giving Cell a senzu beam before Gohan fought him.
Or letting Vegeta go early on, which worked out, but then Frieza, not so much initially. Or helping Moro regain his power more recently in the manga.
Exactly. These choices lead to debate. It adds another layer, maybe a complexity, to how the character is viewed. He's not always the straightforward, purely selfless hero he might seem at first glance, especially later on.
Okay, so we've journeyed through Chinese classics, Japanese myths, cultural anxieties, puns, and modern pop culture, uncovering these incredible layers that make Dragon Ball so much more than just a fighting anime.
It really is. It's a masterclass in cultural alchemy, taking all these disparate ingredients and forging something new and incredibly influential.
So the next time you see Goku powering up, maybe ask yourself, are you just watching a cartoon hero scream?
Or are you catching a glimpse of a centuries-old journey, a playful subversion of ancient traditions, and maybe even a reflection of our globalized world's shared storytelling heritage?
That makes you think. What other seemingly simple stories out there might be hiding such deep and fascinating roots?
That's the question to ponder.